Hi everyone, just thought I would pop on again today and showcase the Joy to the World Global Paper Pumpkin Kit. It's one of the kits that we have been given globally. The American market actually has this as a subscription service, but here in Australia we don't have that just at the moment. But we have been able to get a couple of global kits, so we've been able to access these. So these are available while supplies last. So I'm just going to flip you down and go through the kit, make a couple of the cards, and hopefully be able to answer any questions that you have while I'm on live. So just let me flip the camera up around the other way, and I apologise for the fan blades, but it is summer in Australia. Okay. Morning to everyone who's joining. I hope you're having a great day and it's not too hot for you. Okay, let's see if I can bring you in just a little bit more. And I'll just get myself up on my page to make sure that I'm coming out loud and clear. Morning, Alison. Not sure who else is joining me, just having fun finding myself on the page today, of course, because it's Monday. And, you know, that's just how it rolls on a Monday. Let's see how we're going. So this is our gorgeous paper pumpkin kit. I'm going to see if I can get this organised so it'll do comments for me. There we go. Oh, yes, it's still hot here and it's going to be even hotter because we'll get up to 35 or more. So, you know, that's just our normal run-of-the-mill temperature. So, as I said, this is our global paper pumpkin kit. And I just wanted to go through this a little bit. I've taken all the pieces out of the box. So it comes with an instruction sheet, well, pictorial instructions and a few little instructions there to show you the order of things and just how they put a few things together. As I said, because it's a global kit, it actually has got a little bit of information about the different what's the word I want? The different languages it comes in. So they've given us a translation for what the sentiments are. So it comes in English, French and German for those countries that have those languages, and so it gives us a translation of what they are. So if you're wanting to send a card to someone in these other countries, you've actually got a translation of which words are which for your language. So that's a really handy little guide this time around. The other thing obviously is all the pieces from the kit. So you've got your gorgeous envelopes which have got a little bit of a liner that's printed in them. So there's 8 of those. I've already put my stamp set in a case. I use our standard cases, which I've mentioned previously. They come as a set of 4 for $14. I will try and link to them in the description or put up a code, but that is our gorgeous stamp set. There's some lovely knit pieces, so hopefully you'll be able to see the pattern on those. I had all sorts of fun trying to showcase those the other day. So that's some knit panels. We've got some card bases, so they're a little bit distressed with a little bit of gold accenting on the card. They're already pre-printed, ready to go. Now, one thing I will mention that I haven't mentioned before, these are divided up in your pack. Now, there is a reason that they're divided up in your pack, if you can see this. One goes with the lines across and one goes with the lines down. So, not that it makes a great deal of difference, but it gives you the option of having them portrait or landscape. And some of the cards are done in those different orientations in your actual kit. You've got your little pre-cut die cuts that you're going to pop out and stamp and or add with dimensionals. You've got your words and your gold foil, which I know is going to reflect badly, so we'll just sit that one over there so it doesn't do too much to us. And our little sentiment pieces that have got stitching on them. And of course, I know I've forgotten a couple of things, but you know, we'll wing it today. We will wing it. So I thought I would just try and put together one of each of the cards for you so you can see what they look like. I have just opened the kit, so I'm only guessing at what I need. So I'm just going to get one of each type of card. I'll just pop this out of the way for the moment. So I don't want to get ink all over it. I'm assuming that we will have one of each of these as well. So there's one that's larger than the other of these knit pieces. There's a flower. Looks like they've got 2 flowers. So let's get out 2 flowers and one of these wreaths. Okay. So I reckon we'll need those. We're going to need to stamp our words. Let's just double check that they're all the same. Yes, they are. And okay, so that's those. Let's just fold our card bases and give them a burnish with our bone folder. And of course, everything these days is harder for me to pick up since COVID because I've taken my fake nails off and I just haven't put them back on. So I've got COVID nails at the moment, but you know, that's just the way life happens. So there's our 2 cards. I always like to lay all my pieces out before I start so that I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm doing. So the instructions tell me that the sentiments are in different languages so you can share them. You get 2 each of the 3 sentiments in each language. So they suggest stamping our stitch die cut labels and reeds first. Okay, so we'll be doing that. Then you're going to add 18 inches of twine. So there's gorgeous cherry cobbler twine in the kit. Already comes with it. I've actually pre-cut one piece just to the right length before filming, just so that I could have one that was quick and easy to cut without having to measure it. Although our grid paper up the top here will let us measure that. And then it says to layer and adhere the pieces in this order. So the printed die cuts, which is these pieces here, you're going to layer them with dimensionals. The foil die cuts, which is our sentiments and banners, it says to use adhesive dots for those. Now adhesive dots are included in your kit, so you'll get a sheet of dimensionals and a sheet of adhesive dots, and you'll also get a small Just Jade Stampin' Spot, which is a small size ink pad. Now rather than open that myself, I'm just going to use my full size ink pad and my glue dots and dimensionals that I always have. I tend to save the kit ones and take them away with me because they're just a handy size to go away. So that's those. And it says your stamped labels are done with dimensionals as well. So, okay. So let's see what we're going to make. This shows me a close-up of the card. So we're going to have this one that goes this way. We'll have the smaller of the 2 embossed white pieces of card. Okay, we'll have those. And it'll have 2 of the flowers. Okay, so, yep, something like that, and like that. And we're going to have a foil banner. Now there's 2 sheets of the foil, so just be aware of that when you're getting them out. So there's going to be a foil banner that'll go across there like that. And then we're going to stamp Merry Christmas onto one of these long stitched pieces here. So let's just get our Merry Christmas off. Now with photopolymer, what I tend to do is I put it down on my grid paper to be able to put it onto my block. I try and line it up so that it looks straight. Okay, and I've only got that block, so I'm going to go that way. No, I'll use the other one just because it's easier. Okay, so putting that onto my block, and I'm just going to bring this down here and we'll stamp our Merry Christmas. Okay, been a while since I've actually made anything on a live, so just bear with me, and I will stand up just so I can make sure that I've got my Merry Christmas in the center there. And of course I should be using my piercing mat underneath because it's a photopolymer stamp set, but for today I'm just going to wing it, and we'll just do that. So that's our Merry Christmas, and this is our gorgeous in colour grid paper. So I'm just going to give that a quick clean because of course I've left my cleaning in the other room. And I'll just stamp this other one while I'm going, and it says to the world. So we're going to do joy to the world on the other one. So let's just get it to go there like that, and ink up our word. And again, try and line it up over my sentiment panel and hope that it's straight. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That's unusual for me to do that on a live. Usually they're all over the shop. Okay, so that's our stamping. So I'm just going to close my ink pad because odds are if I don't, my arms will end up in it. And as I said, I'm only putting one of these together. I'm not going to try and do multiples of it because although you can do 4, they have 4 of each design that are in the kit. But for today, I'm just going to do 1 of each. And the instructions tell me let's just pop these ones out. They should be dry. I always like, particularly with in colour ink pads, because I find they're really juicy, I always like to just give them a minute to dry before I start popping them out. And I do find it's a lot easier to stamp my sentiments when they're in this larger panel. If it's easier for you to see the outline, to line them up on the grid paper to make sure that they're straight, I just find I end up moving them and then they're crooked. So I figure just leaving them in there makes it that little bit easier for me. And so the word that they've used on this one is the joy out of the foil sheet. So I'll just take that out. Now, the other thing to remember too is that it does have a little dot for the eye. So make sure that you get it out, but don't lose it because it's only very small. Okay, okie dokie. So the other thing I think we need to do, by the looks of this, is actually, I haven't finished the stamping at all. I haven't stamped my wreath, and whilst they have got some leaves on this, they've obviously stamped over it with the darker colour with our wreath stamp. So let's just grab that off the sheet as well. Okay, and we'll just pick a block Okay. And obviously we need to stamp our wreath. So I'm just trying to do all the stamping in one go rather than, you know, having to come back to it. So we'll just ink up our wreath image. Now with these ink pads, it's always important too to just sort of kiss the stamp against the ink pad. So don't push it to China, just gently tap or place your photopolymer on your ink pad and let it soak up the ink a little bit, because I do find that if you push too much, then it can have, you know, a splotchy effect. Now let's see if I can see. Okay, that obviously lines up with that. So if you line the center of your wreath up, hopefully you're in the right place, because it does have, I don't know if you can see that, it does have a bit of a guide as to where you're going to stamp it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Berries are sort of where they're supposed to be. So obviously it is something that you do need to pay attention to where you're stamping your wreath. Just stamp that off on my grid paper. Okay, so that one goes with the joy one, so we can sit that one over there. And we're going to try and put this one together. So what it said was we need to put dimensionals onto the printed die cuts and the labels. Okay, so the printed die cuts would be these ones here. So we'll just put some dimensionals on those. Now, the other thing that I always do as well is with my dimensionals, I just put some Sharpie marker on the back of them, because when I put them on, it just makes it so much easier to be able to see when I've taken the backing off. And don't throw these pieces out, you can cut them up and use them as well, okay? I just like to use the whole ones for filming if I can. And hopefully I'm putting them in the right spot, because I'm only guessing. So let's go with that. And it was the Merry Christmas that we did on this one. So let's put some on there. Okay. And they've used glue dots. Well, I can use glue anyway if I want to on mine. So according to this one, okay, there's twine involved. Always twine involved, right? So I can stick this one on, and because it's embossed, rather than using glue dots, although I probably should, given that's what's in your kit, shouldn't I? So that you can actually know what you're doing to put them together. So yours will come on a sheet. These are the glue dots that come on a roll. And basically I would be putting one in each corner. Now it's always better to push whatever you're trying to adhere onto the glue dot rather than taking the glue dot off, I find, just because what it does is it stops you from putting any oils from your fingers and anything else onto the glue dots themselves, and they will stick that much better. Okay, so this goes on this way, I think. Looks like that way. And so it's roughly about there. You can see I'm measuring very, very carefully. All I'm trying to do is make sure that the edges are lined up relatively straight. Okay, that's that. And then we are going to, now I reckon I would put the foil piece down next, just because I know that it's flat. So I'd put it across the center before I put the flowers on. Yep, I'd be doing that. So let's just do it that way. Whether or not that's the order that they've done it in, I've got no idea, because let's have a look at our little instructions. It doesn't really say, it just, oh, you loop your twine over that, okay, right. So I'll put my glue dots onto my banner. And then I'm going to loop, I'll just set that there so I don't end up sticking it to everything. So then I'm going to loop my twine apparently. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers a few times. I always love twine, it doesn't like me at all. So I just want to loop it around. No, a bit bigger. Okay, so loop my twine around. The joys of it being on a spool when you're getting it out. Try and put that under there. Try and put my ends in. Okay, it seems to be a bit bigger, so oh no, let's try that, because it actually, gosh, I love this stuff. The worst part about it being on a spool is that it really is round and it does make life a little bit interesting. So let's try and, I'll tell you what, if I was doing it myself, I would just not even bother with the twine. Hey Megan, yeah, don't try and use the twine for this one. I'm having all sorts of trouble with it this morning. So I do like the stamp set, Alison. Yes, I think it'll be a very useful one. I think, however, these other ones, I'm hoping this twine's going to look great with this, because it's annoying the living daylights out of me this morning. But what they're recommending is put your twine on, and then put your gold foil accent on, and hope that it's straight. And that will hopefully hold my twine in place. All the bits that I didn't want to come out are, and all the bits that I did want aren't. So let's just maneuver that a little bit. Let's go that way. Righto. And then I'm going to, now I'm just using my take your pick tool and on the dimensionals just to take the backs off. Come off. Any other time when I'm not filming, it would come off perfectly. Okay, so as I said, I'm just working from the instructions to give it a bit of an idea of what I'm doing. And so that's going roughly there. That looks okay. Yep, let's do that. And then we're going to do the other one facing the other way. I'm just loving these flowers in this kit. They're just gorgeous. So let's put you this way so that you're going to come out there on with the other side of my flower, and you're going to go that way. So I reckon if I put them like that, yeah, like that, because I just don't want it to hang off the card too much. There we go. And then we've got our Merry Christmas to go over the top of that. So let's see how we go with that. I probably would move the dimensionals and just put them where there are gaps, but for the moment I'm going with what I've done. So sometimes it works to put things on ahead of time, and other times not so much, because you need to know where it's going. Okay, so if I put that so that it's just covering the edge of that flower, there we go. So even with all my faffing about, there's our first card done. So, you know, I quite like the colours in that. I really think this stamp set is going to be one that we will use a lot. So that's card number one. Let's do the second one. and hope that we don't have as much trouble with it, except for the fact that I didn't do the twine for that. But looking on these instructions, I just tie it around this panel here. So I usually do that off the spool anyway, so that's not going to matter. And I would say that printed dark, it doesn't say whether to do that as a raised up one or not, but on the picture it looks like it's got dimensionals on it, so I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this one just because I can and because it's me. We all know that I love to dimensional everything, and it does make it easier to tie your ribbon. Okay, so this, let's just give that a bit more of a, there we go, that's sitting a little bit better. Now I'll need to try and tie a bow, so that's always fun. So I'm going to sit that across there because I want to put the panel on here first, because it's going to give me something solid to be able to tie the bow, rather than trying to do it in mid-air around a very flexible piece of printed or embossed paneling. So I'm just going to do that, and I need this to be around about the center of the card, so I think that looks okay there. Okay, and I guarantee you I'll put this around the wrong way, of course, but you know, what would a live be without doing something the wrong way round? Okay, so the other thing is, we're always saying that we need an extra pair of hands to hold everything when we're doing a bow. I've got these tweezers that are closed when you've got to push them open, and I find I can just hold them. That'll hold my bow. Then I've got my knot, then I've got both hands free to tie my bow. And then you just slip that out and zhuzh your bow a little bit. Okay, and even though I've done it the wrong way around, that will work. Trim the ends, trim that because it looks a bit ratty. Put that out of the way. Okay, and you can still adjust it around your card a little bit as well. So there's that. And then we're going to do our wreath. And our wreath is going to have our joy and to the world on it. Okay, so with your glue dots, they suggest doing this. So I would, where's my take your pick? I would roll a glue dot because they're too big otherwise. So just roll it till it's a little bit smaller and line up your word over there so that you know roughly where you're going to put it, because you've got to do joy sort of across the center, and then you've got to have to the world. Okay, so let's put our joy on. Okay, and I'm going to have it up a little bit, so I sort of want up on my joy up here, and let's have a look where I want the other one. Probably on this Y part here. Okay, I want my joy to be about there. That looks pretty good, because you're only wanting the glue dots on either side. You don't want them anywhere else, because otherwise you're going to end up having adhesive everywhere. Okay, and then the other thing you're going to need to do is roll up one of these really, really small, because you need to do your little dot. So let's do my little dot for my joy. You can just go there Look at your gorgeous little thing. And then we're going to put our To the World on. Okay, so I'm going to do roughly about there. So I think I'm going to need a large dimensional on this side, but I may need a smaller one. Now you can cut your outside pieces down to get smaller ones, by all means. You don't have to have large and small dimensionals, although I do find that it's handy to have the different sizes for what you want, because I'm thinking I'm going to need just a dimensional there, and because I don't know exactly where it's going to go on the back, sometimes it's easier to put it on your actual panel that you're sticking it to, particularly if you've got limited space. I just find that that works really, really well. Okay, so then I'm going to put my To the World on. I've just got to make sure that I do cover that dimensional that I've put on. Quite like that placement there. Okay, and then we're just going to put some other dimensionals onto the back of our wreath itself. So you've already got dimensionals on this part, so try and put one in the middle there so that you're trying to make it layer evenly. All right, so that's why I'm placing them where I am. So that's those. Oops, there we go. So I don't know if I mentioned that this kit is actually only $37, available while stocks last. However, we are having a sale tomorrow, a 24-hour sale. It's 10% off selected items from the annual catalogue, which actually includes most of the catalogue. So I've put a post up on my page yesterday which showcases the products that are not included. So pretty much everything else is. And we had information come through yesterday that this kit is actually included in the special. So you can get 10% off this kit for 24 hours tomorrow only. So head to my store at wendyhodkinson.stampingup.net to purchase it. There's the host code for this month so that you can place your orders, and anyone placing an order of $50 and over who isn't a demonstrator, because why would you order from another demonstrator when you can get a discount on your own supplies? So head to my store and you'll be able to purchase those tomorrow when the sale is on. Now I'm just going to flip you back down, see if there's any other questions. Okay, let's just have a look and see if I can get this undone. I've got to remember that I've got to unclamp it these days because everything nearly fell apart the other week. There we go. Okay, so as I said, that is our Paper Pumpkin Joy to the World kit. Normally $37, and it is in the sale tomorrow for 10% off. There are so many different stamp sets from our annual catalogue that are included in that sale. So whether you're a demonstrator or a customer, we can take advantage of that 10% off those products. And as I said, the list of products that are not included is in a post that I put up on my business page yesterday. So, or you can head to my website and you'll be able to see all the products that you can actually get a discount on. So the code for that Paper Pumpkin kit is 155344. So again, 155344. Normally $37, available while supplies last. And just a quick reminder that for our upcoming catalogues that begin in January, my mailing list is closing at the end of this month. So if you would like a catalogue and you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business. So please give me a message or email, a call, just contact me, or even put a message comment down in the video below and I can add you to my mailing list that you'll receive new catalogues. Let me just show you the covers. I was busy last night actually doing some class prep, so I know they'll be the wrong way around. So this is the mini catalogue, and this is our celebration brochure. So celebration brochure, fantastic promotion, January and February 2021. For every $90 or $180 that you spend, you can receive a product of your choice from this small celebration brochure for free. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to get them early, join my team, Inky Digits, fantastic group of girls. And if you do it tomorrow, you get 10% off those products that are listed if you want to choose them in your starter kit. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today, and bye for now.